Dressed and clean, time to go to the funeral.
It's not holding a charge.
Regardless if it's for business or if it's for pleasure, whenever you travel, always pack some nice clothes. You never know when you're going to be invited to like a really formal party, or if you're just going to have to jump into a funeral. In this case, I even knew that the funeral was coming, and I still didn't have a suit. Jesus. How do you do this again?
After high school, her parents decided that Fumi and Sachi should go to Japan to learn how to be proper Japanese women. This means to learn how to put on a kimono, to perform a tea ceremony, to create ikebana, and to brush up on their Japanese. So they left on this adventure by boat from San Pedro to Honolulu and then on to Tokyo in 1939. Went to school to learn their lessons, but they also had time to visit with family and then to travel around the countryside. Unfortunately, their adventure was interrupted by World War II, and in 1941, they were brought back to the United States by the last ship that left Japan back to the United States before the war. Back in California, only a few months, then the entire family was rounded up and they were sent to the Manzanar relocation camp. So when Fumi got out of camp, she and Charlie were married, and they eventually settled in a cozy little house on Mississippi Avenue in West LA. Fumi, who was very talented in art, had a flair for design. She found artistic and creative work. First painting porcelain figurines, and then later working in Howard Ware's Hollywood custom fashion and costume design studio. Although Fumi and Sachi were sent to Japan to learn the ways of proper Japanese women, they did not accept the old-fashioned traditional expectations of compliance. So Fumi always had strong opinions and was not afraid to speak her mind. So Fumi remained strong, mentally sharp, and outspoken throughout the more than 100 years of her life. And I believe that it is her strength and her honesty that we will all remember whenever we think of her.
When Fumi went into the Cato retirement home, I began to make regular visits to see her. When I finally got in to see her, her first remarks to me would be, "Hey, how come you're so late?" And then she would proceed to tell me about the aches in her body and how she didn't have enough room for all her things, and how the help there never seemed to listen to her complaints. So, to be honest, it wasn't a lot of fun back then, and I did it mostly out of a sense of obligation, since she didn't have any children of her own to look after her. I was visiting with Sachi one day, her sister, and she always liked to hear news of her and her sister, so I started telling her about how it was getting a little difficult to keep my regular visits with Fumi. Sachi did calmly thank me for visiting her, and then she told me something that I will remember to this day. And Sachi reads a lot of Buddhist texts and goes to seminars with a lot of Buddhist scholars, but she told me that it was actually Fumi who was her greatest teacher in this life. So from that moment on, I never dreaded or felt obligated to go on my annual visits. In fact, Sachi told me that if I opened myself up, Fumi would teach me a lot as well.
being the only girl, I benefited from a lot of things that the boys didn't get to do, like go shopping with Auntie Fumi and Grandma. They took me and they spoiled me to death. My mom had 4 kids to take care of and these 3 boys running around all over the place. Auntie Fumi taught me so much. I am so grateful. I learned how to sew, I learned how to knit, I learned how to crochet, all these things, cooking in the kitchen, all kinds of things. She was very meticulous about everything, and she taught me how to knit. It wasn't a normal knit. I had to learn the German knit because it was much more efficient. When I learned how to sew, she made me match the jacquard, the patterns on the sides. They had to match all the way down. In all of this, she taught me to be a perfectionist. So I've learned a lot about watching for detail. But most of all, I learned how much love she had for me and for all of us.
I think people that live to a ripe old age do so and have something to look forward to. And for Fumi, that's something that really goes of joy.
So everyone's asleep right now. In editing, the words finally came to me that I should have stood up at the podium for, but I'll just share it here instead. Cindy's words really kind of rang true for me as well. Fumi did tend to spoil us, but for me, she spoiled my overactive imagination. She let me run around her house as if it were an ancient temple to explore, or her backyard garden as a jungle. And to a child who's watched Jumanji, that jungle was pretty intimidating. One memory that really stands out, though, is that there was a time when my fingers would be compared to Fumi's, and I took that as maybe I should, develop my dexterity a little better, and I started to do little more of, and I started to do origami, little simple things like, a boat, or I tried the crane. I was able to fold them, but the remembering which fold when was really difficult for me. So when I was in Japan, a really simple fold that I learned was this little tiny paper fox, and I brought that back with me. One day, I was requested to just kind of make something for Fumi, and so that's what I did. I made her a little origami paper fox. And her face just lit up, like she'd never seen that fold before, and this amazed me. I felt so much pride that this woman who I looked up to is in terms of her craft, she could make these 100-fold figures, these cranes, these frogs, these peacocks. And here's this simple, I think it's 6 or 5 folds, this little tiny fox. And just the fact that the smile on its little face brought such a glow to hers. I mean, it was one of the best things that I did for her. It was also one of the last things that I did for her. So I'm just really glad that she got as much joy out of it, even more joy out of it than I thought she would. All right, Don, follow that car.
Okay. As long as I didn't get caught by the red lights.
Or the train.
I just really enjoyed talking to her. I found her fascinating. She was so smart and so up on every current event. And one memory I have of her is she was telling me what a seamstress she was, and I didn't realize what a fine seamstress she was. And then she said, "Oh yeah, we used to make dresses for Ava Gardner and all these Hollywood stars," and I had no idea. And she said, "Yeah, we didn't think anything of it. They'd come in and we'd fix them up." And so she was a brilliant seamstress. Lastly is the current event thing. She would watch PBS and was completely up on current events, and I agreed with everything she said. That was the cool thing. I'm like, really? Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, she was a sharp one.
Yeah. You can take out my bags, right?
I think just how funny she was, that she would always be happy and really smart, and we could talk to her about anything, and she was always a really interesting person.
I like that.
Here, right, Ernie?
No,
It's up past this thing.
it's way down that way.
Oh, right.
So we gotta get a map from here in the office. Okay, wait, let me off. Right here, let me off. I'll go get a map. Okay, so turn around. Wait, stop, slow down.
This is
that
Sylvia.
Sylvia? Yeah, left.
Yeah, I think we're there.
And then straight up, all the way straight up.
Up.
And it dead ends.
Yeah,
into
we're on the up at the moment.
Yeah, it dead ends into it, so we're good.
Okay, bye.
It's all good.